Well, it feels good to get the first win on the road, first win of the season, as we get ready to go back and play a home game and really give our fans what they deserve, and that's us playing our style of football, our brand of football, and playing good complementary football. And you look, we've really played 2 home games now. We've matched our losses at home that we had last year, where we only lost 2 times last year at home, and we've already lost twice at home now. And so we really take a lot of pride in winning and truly having home field advantage due to the fans that we do have here in Minnesota. And I think it's about time that we give them what they deserve, and that's just putting a good product on field and playing our style of football.
How does the crowd affect special teams? Like, I know with a quarterback, it's hard to hear.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the sideline communication before we actually go onto the field is really where you kind of feel it the most. After a big-time third down stop by the defense, things are very hectic on the sideline. There's a lot of different communications going on where it could end up being a 3rd and 3, and out of a 3rd and 3 went to a 4th and 15, so the calls could possibly end up changing from one thing to another. And so the sideline communication is probably the biggest thing that you really kind of run into from a crowd standpoint from special teams.
With Brandon Powell, it seems like he has kind of a fearlessness to his game. I guess what do you see from that, and what does that take for him to be the punt returner that he is?
I think the biggest thing is he's very aggressive, but he's a really smart decision maker back there, and that's what you look for in your returner, especially. His number one thing is can he field the football and can he make great decisions back there, and he has that aggressive mindset because he understands and knows. There could be limited amount of opportunities based off of, is the punt happening from a backed up situation, a minus territory type, or is it at the 50 where more times than not the ball isn't getting returned? So whenever he does find that space where the ball is being punted in minus territory, he wants to maximize those opportunities. And for us, we want to make sure that we're giving him those opportunities to be able to return the football, because we do think good things happen when he does have it and he is able to return it.
How do you assess the special teams through 4 weeks? Like, what have we done? Highlight as good things and stuff that you got to work on.
I think the biggest thing, the penalties probably is the biggest thing that we need to clean up. We had a really unnecessary offsides on a touchback by Brian Asamoah on a kickoff that just gave him a free 5 yards. Najee Thompson had a holding call the last game that was really unnecessary. You can kind of look at some of the Tampa game. We had a holding call on Jalen Naylor. So really, just from a technique standpoint, we need to just clean up being a little too grabby at the point of attack, having just a little bit more roots at the point of attack to where we're kind of well-rooted and guys aren't kind of knocking us or pushing us back to where we feel the need. We need to tug and grab or pull guys down. So within that, I think the biggest thing is from a special team standpoint is just cleaning up the penalties. Something that we really have to really focus and lock in on.
Is there any element to keeping Greg Joseph sharp? It feels like he just has not had any sort of long field goals yet.
Yeah, it seems that way, but we do a great job during the week of putting him in many different situations, pressure situations, and try to make it as game-like as possible. And, even throughout the practice sessions, he's still locked in and doing a great job of going through his process and putting the kicks through the uprights. I know he hasn't had many opportunities this season for it just kind of ends up working out to where offense wants to kind of stay very hyper aggressive with attacking, because we really feel good about the game plan versus the defense that we're up against. So Greg always stay ready. He's always locked in, and we're only in the week 5 now, and there's going to be many opportunities that are going to arise where we're really going to lean on him and need him to come through in those pressure situations.
What did you think of the game Harrison Smith had Sunday?
Man, it was beautiful scene to see. You look at a guy who pours so much into it. He's quiet as ever, going throughout his daily process, and for him to get back to what everybody's calling like vintage Harry, and I think this style of defense really fits perfectly in the style of player that he is, allowing him to play at the line of scrimmage, allowing him to disguise a lot from a half-field safety to a post safety to playing down at the line of scrimmage. And the scheme is really built really well for a lot of things that he does at a really high level. And so for him to have that type of game, just, I would expect many more to come.
How much, synergy is there between you and Brian Flores? I mean, just when it comes to a lot of your players play on defense and things like that, and I guess do you learn from each other? Do you evaluate players together, that kind of thing?
For sure, good question. It's funny. Flo jokes all the time about like he's a honorary special teams coach. It's kind of how he puts it all the time. We meet constantly, every single day. We're together, communicating, about personnel and how he's going to use guys versus how I'm able to use guys like Metellus, what the game plan looks like for him and how I'm able to kind of use the DJ Wanhams, the Patrick Jones, because a lot of the times there's a two-way flow of communication and job responsibility because obviously plenty of defensive players play special teams, and so we want to make sure we're in line with how we want to be able to use these guys and maximize in where they're not just gassed out there on the field on either phase of it. So we're well connected and communicate all the time.
Sorry about that. I was going to ask if you were going to get him a Photoshop of Flo.
Might need to, yeah. We need to work that in, Craig, for sure.
Just with his experience as a head coach, I mean, are there things that you've been able to learn from him as somebody who's done it at that level?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is with Flo is how he commands a room, his ability to communicate to players, his ability to be very, very versatile from a week-to-week standpoint and how he game plans, how he schemes, how he uses players and maximizes what they're really good at. And I think that's the biggest thing is taking the skill set of your players and figuring out how can I maximize what this guy does really, really well. And, I've been able to learn from that and put guys in positions that work well for them, that gives them the opportunity to be a matchup plus on game day.
With that same line of thinking, I'm curious just your thoughts on a player like Cam Bynum. He hasn't come off the field as a safety, your background and position, and just talking with Flo. What does he bring to this football team that is so invaluable?
I think the biggest thing Cam Bynum brings is his versatility, his ability. He can go play corner, he can play inside at the nickel spot, he can play the post safety. You can drop him down in the box because he does a great job of getting off of blocks and down in football carriers. And so when you have a guy, really a chess piece like that, who you can put outside to be able to disguise and show what might look like a man, but really it's his own, or it could be a man because we're comfortable with this guy being able to cover any of the receivers that might be out there, the X to Z, Y, and the versatility that he brings is really probably the best thing that he has. And so with that allows you to do a lot of different things from a defensive schematic standpoint. Appreciate y'all.